Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, it's that time of year, Morgue Halloween special, which is funny because as I'm reading this, it's September like 9th. They always do that September October issue, right? It's the Halloween issue, and then early November, literally a week or so after Halloween is over, another issue will come out. Whatever. I guess it's just the way it falls. Um, and of course, they're covering the Nosferatu remake, right? Or should I say Robert Eggers' version of it, because it seems to be more than just a remake. But uh, and like I said, the Halloween issues were always great, but of course, it's 2024, it's current year, so we're running out of stuff, to be frank. Well, it's a nice layout. And Arkham Report always said this is a very well laid out magazine, and it is. Okay, we got other things here. The 50 vilest villains. Well, I have this thing. I'm gonna go over that. So, but like there wasn't really a ton of other stuff in here. And of course, this thing with the horrors of Winnie the Pooh, really to really date your Halloween issue in terms of this trend of taking public domain characters and making them into like murderous killers, or to have a killer wearing the likeness of it. It's really kind of cheesy, man. Yeah, so it's funny too. In this Andrea's editorial, always go over this. This is interesting, looking at this stuff. The whole idea, right? Even though she's coming from the total, I would say almost total opposite side of me, but not really in some ways. I think I'm more. I think I'm to her left. I'm definitely to her right, if you get what I'm saying. But the idea that what a lot of people are realizing, okay, and it's more than just things. Things were always rough. Of course, 80 years ago, it seemed like the world was on fire, right? Well, the thing is that people are realizing across the spectrum that there is something wrong with things like this existence now, okay? And they can't put their fingers on it, but they sense it psychically. What you're sensing is the declining end of a civilization, okay? With, of course, with elements of it that we've never seen before, okay? There's no place to retreat to. There's no new barbarians to come, maybe. There's no the things that would normally bring this to an end and start something new. They're being kept going by technology, so the people don't sense it. But I like that. It's funny too. I mean, I don't want to rip on Andrea. I don't, like I said, I don't think me and her could ever. I don't think I could ever be an item. Okay, I listened to the podcast with her friend, and it was insufferable. Very feminine, very modern feminine. It's like listen to it. It's just like men, male, toxic, male, whiteness. Andrea, please, you're supposed to ironically say that. You're not supposed to actually believe that stuff. You're serving capitalism. You're serving global capitalism. Anyway, it's just funny listening to it. They're covering a film that I actually liked back in the day. Remember Eden Lake? Right? And I thought it was interesting because it was the woman, the other woman was like, "Oh, this is a film that was indicting of the working class." Right? If you see the film in England, the northern England, but it was interesting in that they totally missed the case. Working class. The last I checked, those weren't proletariat; those were lumpen proles. Okay, the tool of the friggin' leader of the establishment are your lumpen proles. Okay, machete season's coming. For but these were lumpen proles essentially, and also the couple were not conservative. I'm sorry, the couple were that Michael Fassbender asshole. Come on, the couple was in that film was very much cosmopolitan, very liberal, modern British people from London. Okay, uh, and also the other pet peeve I had in that podcast was, man, talk about still believing the bullshit about what happened with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. Okay, and they somehow linked that to the gated communities where people feel under siege. It was kind of funny. It was interesting. That is the whole history of humanity. Okay, your group has a thing. Not to mention Zimmerman. It was in a working class gated community doing a patrol of a mixed race. Yeah, people who were having break-ins, and he didn't hunt down that boy, the 6 foot something Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin attacked him, pounded his head into the pavement. But unfortunately, the guy's head he was pounding into the pavement had a gun on him, so that took care of that. So I was very misinformed. I'm very disappointed, aren't you? I'm sorry. I know she's like, you. Oh man, she would do me. She saw me. So anyway, no, this was interesting. I remember the Tylenol murders. This is the coroners. They always bring up morbid facts. You like more? Are you morbid? Yeah. This though, this I remember. This is one of the earliest stories that I remember. Okay, the Tylenol murders. Right, the painkillers were laced with potassium cyanide. Okay, it inspired the creation of tamper-proof packaging. Right, back then the Tylenol was in capsules. Right, we had the gelatin, like you have the two gelatin ends. You know, and you unscrew them, and the powder would come out. Right, I mean, of course you swallow it, it dissolves it, and goes into your system. Well, these things weren't really protected, right? And somebody had put the poison in those capsules, right? Of course, then after that, they made caplets, right, where you couldn't do that. And also they made the packaging where, idiot-proof or child-proof and idiot-proof containers where, if someone got into it, you would definitely see it. I remember this. The thing with this is that it also brought about the urban myth, and it is an urban myth. I agree with the leftists on this. The idea of poison candy. Okay, now the whole idea of Halloween night was you had enough mayhem and violent things going on, but the idea that people were poisoning candy, right, and putting, apple, razor blades in the apples, sewing pins and candy canes, right? They were putting drain cleaner in like the pixie sticks, if you remember pixie sticks. And of course, that was not the case. But I remember as a kid, my mother checking my candy. It was a big thing. I remember that. It was just an early memory I have where the social trust was starting to decline. It couldn't have done anything else, but it's just interesting that this was something I remembered very, very well. We got more tchotchkes. What is this? Creature from the Black Lagoon monster bag. Hey, look, they have like lipstick on the one of my favorite Universal creatures, the Creature from the Black Lagoon with the drag queen version. So we go here to of course this is a interview with not just Eggers, man, but William Dafoe also, right? WD, Willie D. There you go, Willem Dafoe. Right. And like I told you, like the layouts, like I mentioned, Arkham Reporter said, yeah, this is kind of cool. Whoever organized this, right? And I like that they're not show. I don't like that Skarsgård dude. What a creepy looking guy, man. So thanks for fucking the Crow up, but that's not his fault. But I like how they don't show him yet. Right? And this was actually a really good interview. I am not going to actually go over it. I think you should read this. Yeah, however you can read this, you can read it, but I think you should read this. This was a really good interview. I'll be frank. So Andre did a good job on it. Yeah, look at that. See, Eggers knows his stuff. He knows his history. He's kind of cheeky. He's kind of nuanced, right? I like that. I definitely put him, like I said, in the auteur category. He's more like the older directors. Okay, and I really like that. Oh, yeah, of course, this guy, he is the character actor of now, man. So, he is the character actor. William Dafoe, what a great friggin', dude. Live and Die in L.A., man. It's a movie. I don't think a lot of people have seen that movie. You guys see that movie with him when he's young, or Streets of Fire when he's the villain, And I know there's earlier movies, too, I haven't seen, but, I'm thinking of, movies that you don't think of when you think of William Dafoe. So... And they bring up the fact that, right, the music, okay, the early silent films, many times they didn't have, the music was a live music being played in the movie theater, okay, which was sort of like a movie theater was what? It was like a converted opera hall or, theater. So I'm just going over the music ideas. This was interesting. This is what I'll end this with. And I remember what magazine? I think Little Shop of Horrors, or was it Castle of Frankenstein had gone over this. I wish I remembered the whole idea of right, the Stoker, right? There's Florence Stoker, that's Bram Stoker's wife. When Bram died, a lot of her, the royalties and the income from the book. She wanted to license this stuff so she could, make money, okay, to be supported, which is understandable. And the whole idea was that Nosferatu was a straight up by this Prana Films, even though Murnau was a great director, the film was a rip-off of Dracula, okay? So, and when this was found out, she started a lawsuit, so, and we all know what happened. The German courts, right, ruled that in her favor, right? It was very fair, although I guess Germany sort of has to do what the British tell them even then. But and all copies of the film were to be destroyed. And the descendant here, Doc Gray, what a cool name, Stoker, right? Who's also a lawyer, just like Bela Lugosi's son became a lawyer, right? Who also fought for the intellectual property, film rights, and also for royalties. The other, Lugosi's son. This was sort of a precedent. Bottom line is, modern film fans, horror fans, they want to paint her as a villain because if some guy hadn't kept a copy hidden or made a copy or whatever and kept it going, we would have lost a very good, an amazing film, Nosferatu. Very amazing film. The scenery shot in actual, northern German port city. All the buildings you see were bombed into ashes, into rubble. Years later, but essentially the guy makes the point that, listen, you know what, it was, she had the right to sue. She didn't tell them to destroy all the copies, and in the end it was a good thing. She was provided for to her final days, and the film survived, so everybody won with this, and I sort of agree with that. So and check out, that David J. Scal book, and rest in peace. I can't believe that guy died, man. He was killed earlier in the year. And a drunk driver killed him. That book he wrote with Bram Stoker. Yeah, I might go over it again. So I'm gonna look through it again. I didn't like it so much the first time, but I think I'll go through it again. And a lot of it had to do with this, what happened with the rights to Nosferatu and Dracula, And so we'll go to, who are we gonna cover next? Oh, look whoever you people made this list, you got problems. You got real problems. But I'm gonna do that in the next vid. So Nosferatu, where's that from? One of my favorite vampire films. All right.